Hello again, hope everyone is doing well. Today's video is going to be about the new 2022 Supremacy rookie release from Select. I'm going to go through a summary of what the release is and how it's put together, and also my thoughts on the release, good and bad, and then finally getting into the more investing and collecting side of it like usual. But firstly, I'm going to give a quick summary. I'm sure all you guys already know what this release is made up of, but firstly, it's a two-tiered release this year, which is super cool. I think it gives you a bit of a backstop because last year with the out of 25s, yes, you could hit big, but if you missed, you had nothing else of value. Well, you had nothing else at all in the box. So there was no way of recouping some value. But now you've got the one green and the three blues out of 75. It gives you a much bigger cushion, I think, and that's great for collectors. On top of this, there was only 1,625 boxes produced, only 100 new cards of each player. So I think this is a great move by Select once again, giving a new product to collectors, and especially a rookie product, which I'm very fond of, but not oversaturating the market. We know that oversaturating the market can have really negative consequences on footy card prices. This year, I think it comes with a bit more knowledge, because last year the 2021 Supremacy rookie took a lot of people off guard, and I think that was maybe a bit unethical by Select, not telling people that was coming out. This year they didn't tell people again, but you really had to be ready for it. Like they did it last year, there was a very high chance they were going to do something again this year, whether it be Supremacy or Brilliance rookie or something in between. So I think generally Select did a great job of putting this release together, especially at the price point it's at. So for SCC members, it was $229, I believe. I'm an SCC member, so I got my box at that price, which I think is a great deal. For the general release, it was at $300, which I still think is a great deal. When you get your 125 and 3 out of 75s, I think it represents really good value. And that's probably a good segue. I've got all the basic stuff out of the way. It's a good segue into the EV calculation. So this is a really easy one. I don't do one for every release, but this one is very easy to calculate. And how I'm going to do it is split it into two boxes, Nick Dacos and the rest of the draft class. So with Nick Dacos, I would say his out of 25 card is probably going to sell for $1,500. You have a 1 in 65 chance of hitting that card. So 1,500 divided by 65 is roughly $25, let's say, roundabout. And then for his out of 75 card, you've got, because there's 3 cards in the box, you've got a 3 in 65 chance of hitting that card. I think it's going to sell for roughly maybe $500. So a 3 in 65 chance is roughly 22. You take your 500 divided by the 22, that's roughly 25 again. So the EV of just Nick Dacos for this box is around $50. Now there's 64 other players, so they've got the whole draft class of 65. With the other 64 players, I'm going to go very conservative, say they've got an EV of 5, which is 1/10 of what Nick Dacos has. Obviously, your higher end people, like your Richmond players, Sam Darcy, those kind of blokes who are selling really well, they're going to be higher than this. There's some people that may even be lower than this. Like it's going to be hard to, but there's probably a couple late in the draft. So you take your $5 EV for the rest of the players times by 64, that gives you $320. So 320 plus the 50 for Nick Dacos gives you 370. And I think that is exactly what the EV is going to be. I'm probably going to put up a graphic during that explanation because I didn't do a great job of explaining it. But the point I want to make is that the EV is very high. Even if you're getting it for the retail price of $300, you're expected to get $370 on average when you break the product. So that's saying that if you broke all 1,625 boxes, you'd get on average $370 back, in my opinion. However, that definitely does not mean you're guaranteed that. There's going to be some boxes which are $100 to $150 worth, which I think is probably the floor. Like $100 is the absolute worst you could do, and even then that's very low, especially at the start of the release. And then the best you can do is $2,000 plus if you hit a couple of Nick Dacoses. So there's a big variance in outcomes. Big Gamblers Premium is probably going to be put on the product, especially once lots of it starts to get opened. I would expect it to sell for $400 to $450 at the start. Wouldn't be surprised if it got to $500. I'm not sure what it's selling for at the moment. I know this video is a tad late because it got announced about a week ago and people were probably starting to sell them already. So I'll be very interested to see what it steadies out at, but definitely the $400 to $500 range, I think. So moving on to the negatives I see for the product, and I don't have any huge ones, just some very small ones that I've also seen around the community. First one, they definitely could have added some signature cards or Guernsey patch cards to this release. The counter argument I'd say is that they already changed the release a bit by adding the 375s on top of the 25. So, baby steps. And yeah, hopefully we do see a super high-end rookie product in the near future. I mean, having a game used Guernsey patch from their rookie year with a signature on like a Supremacy cardstock would just be unbelievable. And I think it's just too big of an opportunity to knock back for Select in the coming year. So that's one negative. They could have gone down that road. The other negative I see around is that Select are producing too many rookie cards. I don't really agree with this. I mean, they have produced a lot this year, but this is the most collectible part of a player's career. You need to produce the cards at this point in the career, so down the road, there'll be something to collect of value and importance in their card circles. So although Select may have gone a tad overboard, I think the idea is definitely right. You want different levels of rookie card prices for a player. You can't just have one card worth $1,000. So with a player like Nick Dacos, if he hits it big, you're going to have lots and lots of choices, and there's going to be really nice and rarer cards at a better price point later in his career, and that'll be really good for the long-term collectability. Another thing I see happening is because there's so many new rookie cards of these new players, it's going to probably place a premium on the older players who only have one or two. For example, Fife, he only has the one numbered out at 200. I mean, it's really just got to put a premium on that card when you see how many cards are being produced now versus to back then and how much more accessible they are now. But that completely proves my point. You need to have different levels to it. You can't have every Fife collector in Australia just going for a pool of 200 cards. It doesn't do well to grow the hobby and get more people interested in the hobby. But finally, going into the investability of this product, I think holding the sealed box is always going to be good with these highly touted rookies, especially if a player like Nick Dacos has a huge next season as well. People are really going to want to roll the dice. Like, it's going to be a huge gambler's premium just because there's a chance to hit something huge, which isn't in every product. Also, just breaking the box now and reselling is never a bad option with these kind of releases that have elevated EV, because you'll be able to break the box, which is a lot of fun, and then sell the cards within for more than you paid. So you're not really losing in that situation as well. Just like last year, I did a video on 2021 Supremacy Rookie, and it's probably very similar advice and information I'm giving to right now. But yeah, I'd look more into the sealed box or cracking it early rather than holding on to singular players for investment purposes, that is. Obviously, collecting is a whole different kettle of fish, but holding single players in this release, unless prices are like rock bottom, I personally wouldn't do it because it's just too much risk for me. But that's all I've got for this video. Thanks for watching. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to put out a top 10 eBay video this week, and to be honest, I don't think I'll be able to do one for the rest of the year. December's obviously always a busy time, but I did it for 10 straight weeks, and I want to do a bit of a recap of those 10 weeks, what I learned, what cards moved up, what cards moved down. So that's a video idea I have before the end of the year. So I hope to see you in that video, and cheers. See you then.